Most High Christ. Let's start that up, man. Damn right. Shalom, Israel. We are the Isupk. Started 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Hunter. And our mission is to teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who they are according to the Bible, and that the oppressor is the devil. The Bible speaks of.
Right.
And the crazy part is, man, we had a heavy class today, but we replaced them weights and threw on some extra weights, man, because we coming with another heavy class. I did not know that today was Columbus Day. I found that out about 3:34 o'clock, somewhere around that time. And, you know, Dad, like, we got to switch the class up. We have to blaze on this oppressor. And the reason you don't know today was Columbus Day is because the oppressor is such a goddamn devil. He's trying to sweep it up under the rug. Right. He don't want you to be calling Columbus Day no more. He don't want you to call it Columbus Day no more. He wants you to call, what was that filth that he was trying to call it, Dad?
Which one?
All of them. Now it's not called Columbus Day no more. He got new names for you. Slaves. Now this is what the slaves get to call it now. What is it called?
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day. And what was the other one? Full-blooded Italian Day or something?
Yeah, they said like National Italian Heritage Day.
Do you see what the oppressor is doing? He is cunning in all ways of warfare. He said, we're not going to call it Columbus Day no more. We're going to call it Indigenous People Day. So the same people that Columbus came over here and murdered, raped, pillaged, and robbed. Go ahead.
It's Italian Heritage Day was the other name that they're calling it instead of Columbus Day.
Italian Heritage Day.
Which, if I could, I mean, that just shows you that them as a nation has the spirit of murder on them. Because why else would you change it to Italian Heritage Day when Columbus Day is known for nothing but stealing land from the tribe of Gad, raping and murdering the tribe of Gad? Like, why would you want to be associated with that? It's because they have the same spirit that Columbus had on him so long ago, and that Columbus's men and the empire it is that he served had on him as well.
Yeah, right. If I could, Quartzazar, let me get. I know we was gonna start off in Deuteronomy, but I got to get a Zechariah 11:5. We got to go there.
Zechariah 11 what?
11:5. He said Indigenous People Day and National what?
Italian Heritage Day.
Italian Heritage Day. Well, you got to love the meatballs, the spicy meatballs.
Right.
This is what this day is about now. You talk about Columbus, I'm talking about the spaghetti that has been in my family recipe for generations. Mamma mia. That's what you're supposed to be doing today. Hey, the oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
He wants to sweep up under the rug all the bloodshed, the body counts. He wants to sweep up under the rug over 77 million Native Indians murdered. He wants to sweep up under the rug the Trail of Tears. This is what he wants to do, Guy. He said, this is National Meatball Day when you think about it. It's about the Italian blood. It isn't about what Christopher Columbus do. You must understand. It's about my Sicilian bloodline. The oppressor is the damn devil, man. He wants you to go home and watch Goodfellas and Godfather to celebrate today. Right. He don't want you to really know what happened and why this day is so heinous to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You got this. Go ahead,
so if I could real quick, and for the tribe of Gad, so-called indigenous peoples out there, yeah, it's cool and all. You know, saying that they're calling it Indigenous Peoples Day and whatnot. But at the end of the day, what is that going to change for our people?
Right.
Is that going to get us out of crippling poverty? Is it going to stop sisters from being kidnapped and put into sex trafficking?
Right.
Is it going to stop brothers and sisters from being alcoholics and drug addicts? Is it going to take that spirit off of America that shows you how much it is that they truly hate us by the condition it is that they keep us in every single day? Like, nothing is going to change. It's not, what does the Christians say? It's a new day.
Yes,
you understand? It's not a new day for our people.
We came so far. This is a good first step on that.
Right.
National Indigenous Day. That goes to show you that we getting somewhere. We got another holiday.
Right.
Now, we didn't get no land back. We didn't get no justice for all the crimes committed against us.
Right.
We got a goddamn holiday, and damn it, that's something. another reason to sing and dance. We have to take it.
Right.
We have to take it. That's how we feel, man. This right here, this National Indigenous Day, this is a slap in the face, and this is the oppressors spitting on the graves of every Gadite, every Hispanic, and every black man that has been murdered by his hands. That's what this is. This is a slap in your face and him desecrating the graves of our brothers and sisters, our forefathers. That's what this is. You got that scripture? Let me show you why the Bible is so important. I'm going to show you why the oppressor does this. Why it's National Indigenous Day and National Italian Meatball Day or whatever the heck it was. Let me show you why. You got that scripture, Quatazar? Let's get it.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5.
Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them
Keep going.
and hold themselves not guilty.
Listen, this is why it's no longer called Columbus Day. You know why? Read that from the top.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them.
Because black, my fault. If you could, hold on real quick. Because black, Hispanic, and Gadites and Native Indians are lucky. Yeah, indigenous, our indigenous brothers and sisters. You understand? Let me tell you something. You are still a possession here in America.
Right.
These people have murdered us. They have murdered you, man. And I say this all the time, man, and I'm going to bring it back out because this is so true. And if you got, what we call old heads or OGs in the family that understand and still know a little bit of history, even though they can't trace the bloodline, they can tell you a little bit of history. It was a point in time that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we all knew we was the same blood. We knew that. We knew that we couldn't, like, if you was black, you knew that you had Indian in your blood. Like, how many times have you seen a black, especially catch a black person with some good hair, and let you compliment them on their good hair, man. You got some good hair. Well, I got Indian in my family.
Right.
That's gonna be the first thing to say. You know, I got Indian in me. Grandpa was Indian. My great grandma was an Indian. Like, they gonna tell you, it was a point in time when we knew we was the same people. When you study the history of our Indians, of our indigenous brothers, you will see that there were Judites leading the tribes. They had Judites as tribal chiefs sitting on the war council, man. We knew we was the same people. We married into them tribes. Them is our blood. Look at how they dress. They got the fringes on all their outfits, the shield of David on all their stuff. Where do you think they get that from, my guy?
Right.
They just thought about it. So, you know what, I'm going to do this. It makes sense. No, they do it because we are the same blood, man.
Right.
And the oppressor knows this, man. So now what he's doing now on days like Columbus Day, because here's the funny part. Nobody really cared about Columbus Day. You know what we used to do as a nation? You know what the indigenous people used to do? What the Hispanics used to do and the blacks used to do on Columbus Day? We would celebrate. We would fire up that barbecue grill and we would celebrate Columbus Day. You know what the sad part is? We knew what Columbus Day represented. And we still celebrate it. We celebrate that just the same way we celebrate the 4th of July and every other pagan holiday. We would celebrate it. But guess what? It's not your fault, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. I blame your so-called Christian leaders, man, who allowed this to happen. Because if they always had the truth of the Bible, why could they didn't tell you who you was? That you was the Israelites and you ain't supposed to be celebrating the death of your brothers and sisters.
Right.
The death of your forefathers, because that's all you're doing. You understand? What's the proof that that's the death of your brothers and sisters? Why ain't Columbus Day called Columbus Day no more? Or are they switching it to indigenous people? You only change things when there's something wrong.
Or Italian heritage.
Your Italian Heritage Day. You get what I'm saying? You only change things when something's wrong. Like, I'm not going to go put new tires on my truck if my old tires are working just fine. The reason it's called Indigenous Day is because Columbus Day wouldn't work no more. Because the Lord has put a spirit on the earth to wake blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians up to who they are according to the Bible. And guess what? They started to hate Columbus Day. And they started to hold Columbus accountable for the crimes. They were speaking on it. And you know what the oppressor don't want to hear? He don't want to hear you talking about his crimes. He don't want to hear that. Read that scripture again, Quatazar.
Sir. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5.
Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
They said, listen, we don't know nothing about Columbus Day. This is National Indigenous Day. What is you talking about Columbus Day? I didn't even know it was Columbus Day till later on in the day. I remember the world used to make a big deal out of Columbus Day. You would have stores doing Columbus Day sales. They would have movies about Christopher Columbus all over the goddamn TV. I don't want to give my age away here, but I can't be the only person that remembers this.
God.
Columbus Day, all the Christopher Columbus movies would be out, and it would act like he was such a great man that discovered and saved blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's what he did. Them wasn't slave ships. Them was ships of liberation for us.
They civilized.
Yeah, they made us civilized. Because if anybody is civilized and going to teach you how to be civilized, it has to be the oppressor.
Right.
Who's more civilized than Edom, right? Is that what you want us to believe? The oppressor's the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man.
Right.
He is a homicidal, egotistical maniac of a beast, man. I don't even consider him a human. He is an animal, man. And he has slayed our Gadite brothers. He has slayed the indigenous people of America and murdered them. And right now, as they walk, we walk on the burial grounds of the Native Indians, man. We walk on their goddamn bones every day. Buildings, these skyscrapers, all these buildings are built up on their bones.
Right.
You understand that? The bones of our brothers and sisters. And then we turn around and celebrate a filthy holiday. With the oppressor scene, black people saying F Columbus Day, not giving any more glory to it. So here's what they did. They said, we're done with that. You're right. Columbus was wrong. I'm sorry, but we just can't give the holiday up. No. We just can't get rid of Columbus Day. And why can't they get rid of Columbus Day? It don't look like my stuff buffered. I didn't say anything wrong, Facebook. Let me go. Unfreeze my stuff. Here's why they just didn't give Columbus Day completely up. Here's why they called it Indigenous Day. Or Quatazar. Why didn't they give Columbus Day up? Why did they just change the name of it? I said, why didn't they just get rid of Columbus Day? Why did they change the name? No sweat. Let's get the rest of that scripture.
It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
Stop right there. That's why they didn't get rid of Columbus Day. Because Columbus Day used to, just like every other pagan holiday, generated revenue. People would buy all type of Columbus paraphernalia. People would talk about the Nina, the Cinta, the Nina, the Pinta, the Centuria, them 3 slave ships. They used to sell little carbon copies of the ships. Be about this big. You go into the store and buy them. You understand? It used to generate millions and millions and millions of dollars. Columbus Day did. Millions of dollars. And guess who was their number one consumer? The same people that was on them slave ships. We were.
Right.
How destroyed are we, man? How destroyed are we that we support the same pagan holiday that killed us? The reason they didn't just do away with Columbus Day and said, we're going to call it Indigenous Day. We're going to call it Italian Heritage Day. We're going to call it anything else. Because as long as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians believe it's a holiday, guess what we're going to do? We're going to celebrate it.
Right.
And we're going to spend money. So now instead of the oppressor selling us Christopher Columbus gear, guess what he's doing now, Bungad? He's selling you indigenous gear. Now you can go buy some oppressor-made Native Indian artifacts. Now you can go get you that spicy meatball pasta soup from their new Italian restaurant that they got. Now you want to be in that spirit instead of the spirit of the oppressor. Because the spirit of Columbus was off for you. You learned he was a killer and a murderer and a rapist, and you didn't want nothing to do with that. You looked at him like R. Kelly. Ew, I'm not listening to his music no more. That's what you did. You ain't watching none of the Columbus movies no more. So now what the oppressor do, he gonna put on Last of the Mohicans for you. You gonna go and rent that. You want to be in the spirit of indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? And guess who's making the revenue from it? He is.
Right.
Motherfucker, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna add You understand? Like how our people, you know, so of course they're going to be excited and happy that our oppressor changed it from Indigenous Peoples Day to also Italian Heritage Day. But like with them throwing that Italian Heritage Day in there, that's just another way to get them to convince you to love those that slaughtered our people and enslaved them so long ago. You understand? Because otherwise, I mean, we should be looking at the Italians like they're a bunch of murderers and rapists.
Right.
You understand? A bunch of people who have profited off of the destruction of our people, off of the theft of our land.
The original drug lords.
You understand? But yet they throw in that Italian Heritage Day, and it's like, oh wow, they have such a rich culture. You understand? Something that we never knew about. And I can realize that we're actually the same. You understand? We're all human beings at the end of the day. We all bleed red.
Right.
Like that's all complete nonsense.
And if I could, another thing is this. So it's supposed to be Indigenous People Day, right? Indigenous People Day, which is so filthy that they even decided to make that a goddamn holiday. That's just like, Black History Month.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But here's one thing that we don't never realize, man. You got to look at this, them doing this holiday and then making it national, Italian, whatever?
Italian Heritage Day.
Italian Heritage Day, making it another oppressor-related event. You got to look at it the same way that you would a Juneteenth event, right? Because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man, we love Juneteenth, right? But it just really didn't have that same feel to it until the oppressor put a stamp on it and said, it's an official holiday now. There you go, niggers, you're welcome. And we embrace it. Now it's a big thing. But look at it the same way as you do the Juneteenth event, right? How is it for Black people when the white man is out there celebrating it harder than you? You understand? How is it that? But these oppressors are out there. You see the oppressor out there celebrating Juneteenth harder than you. He got the African booth. Just think about that. Salakia, if I could. How is it that the white man is selling African paraphernalia? You don't see
South African, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right, my guy. He is South African. You get what I mean? He is South African. Understand this, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man. It's all a ploy to destroy you, man. So now, not only is Indigenous People Day, but we also have to give, glory to the oppressor. Because it's National Italian Day or whatever the heck. Italian Heritage Day. You get what I'm saying? So you can never have nothing to yourself, Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. You can never have it to yourself. You always have to also involve the oppressor. Just like Juneteenth. That should make you sick to your stomach, man. We don't need the oppressor to survive. We don't need him to put a stamp on nothing that we do. If you really want to separate from the oppressor, here's all thing you got to do. Come into the Isupk, man. Learn to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because let me tell you something. When you come in here for a high holy day, you guess what you're not going to see. You're not going to see an Italian. You're not going to see. I brought some spicy meatballs. I know you don't eat pork, but you must try this. My mama made it. It is an old family recipe. And spicy meatballs. It has beef and pork in it. I know you don't eat pork, but try it. You're not going to get that. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to see any Italians here. You're not going to see any Africans here. You're not going to see any other goddamn heathens here. You're not going to see them, man. You're only going to see Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Every day in the ISUPK is Indigenous People Day. You understand? Every day in the ISUPK is Juneteenth. You understand? Every day in the ISUPK is Black men and women and children celebrating their goddamn freedom that don't need America for verification for nothing, man. We don't need them, man. We don't need them to put a stamp on another pagan holiday. What we need them to do is just roll over and kick the bucket so we can live in peace. So my brothers and sisters can live in peace, man. Because as long as they're around, man, they're going to try to run from their crimes as much as they still commit crimes, they're going to try to avoid taking any punishment for it. But the Lord ain't going to allow that to happen. He's not going to allow that to happen, man. Christopher Columbus is a goddamn animal, man. Columbus Day is of the oppression, man. A wicked beast. Wicked beast, man. And once more, If we could, Quatazar, let's get Deuteronomy 28:68.
So can I get scripture?
Yeah, go ahead, Bangad. Please scripture. If you need Quatazar to pull, just let me know.
It's a lot. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 11. He said, this is exactly what America has tried doing with changing Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day and changing the name of Columbus Day as well to Italian Heritage Day to try to, basically brush, like you brought out, brush their crimes underneath the rug and make it seem as if they've changed, when in reality, that same spirit that Columbus had so long ago, it's the same one that America has.
Right.
This is book Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 11. For they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly. And saying that's exactly what America has done with this creation of Indigenous Peoples Day. We're straying away from calling it Columbus Day. It's healed the hurt of the Lord's people just slightly. It's got our people, just so excited, talking about, well, things are coming to a change. You understand? Like America is finally recognizing how wrong it was that what Columbus did to us so long ago. They're at least attempting to make a change by changing this day and giving it to us. We've won one for once.
Right.
Saying peace, peace. You understand? That's exactly what Joe Biden was saying when he acknowledged Indigenous Peoples Day.
Right.
And saying we thought we was, just ready to party when we originally got this day. Shoot, when Joe Biden sat there and did that news briefing, like our people were ready to
accept him into the tribe.
You know what I'm saying? Go dancing in the streets.
Yeah, let's make this nigga an honorary chief.
You understand? like they're like that just increased the amount of us that really, think that things are changing for the better for our people. And those are the same kind of people that'll say, give it another 100 years and maybe, just maybe, we'll be equal to these people.
Right.
It's like when there is no peace, it doesn't matter how many holidays it is that our oppressor, America, Canada, gives our people. Like, there is no peace. Like, these people are going to continue to kidnap sisters and sex traffic them. They're going to continue to kidnap our children, do the same thing. They're going to continue to molest and rape sisters on the reservations, outside the reservations. They're going to continue to ensure that we are alcoholics and drug addicts. They're going to ensure that we remain as some of the lowest, economic counties within the United States. They're going to ensure that we continue to commit abortions. Like, they're going to always have these different tactics of war that they are,
that's exactly what it is, war tactics.
You understand that they're always putting in motion against us as a people. Like, just because we get a day or a month, things are not going to change for us.
Right.
And we can't ever expect for these things to change. That's exactly what our forefathers thought. We thought just because they took their knee off of our neck just a little bit, just the tiniest amount so that we can get a gulp of air, that all of a sudden we're going to be able to breathe freely and not have to worry about being strangled to death. You understand? When that same pressure it is that our forefathers felt back then, it's the same thing that we're feeling today. They just simply changed up their tactics. There can never be peace between us and our oppressor.
Damn right, man. And if I could piggyback off of what you guys, you got any more you want to bring up?
What do you think?
If I could, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what you brought up was such a heavy scripture. I got to pull one. This is going to be Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Like Bongad just brought out. Hey, listen, I'm going to recognize this as a national holiday. You know what that reminds me of? Juneteenth.
Right.
I'm going to recognize this as a national holiday. But let me tell you something. The Africans don't have a national holiday. The Moabites don't have a national holiday. The Asiatic people, they don't have a national holiday. But you know what they do have? They have laws and legislation that protects them. They have economic power. I'd rather have laws in place to protect me and my brothers and economic power and the ability to set up some businesses than a goddamn holiday. That's just me. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm the weirdo. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But once more, we fall for it. Indigenous People Day. So what comes with Indigenous People Day? Do we get some land back? You get some land by God? They ain't give you no land? You ain't never get, listen, they promised us 40 acres and a mule. What you get? What they promised y'all for Indigenous People Day? You feel me? Damn right. Listen, man. They ain't giving no land back. There's no legislation put in place to protect. Think about what the oppressor has done. He has came and conquered our brothers, right? Our sisters. Murdered the Indians, right? Murdered them. That's the nicest word I can use. You know what I'm saying? Genocided them. You get what I'm saying? And then the few that survived, he put on reservations. Only to come back to the reservations and say, yeah, we put you here, but we're going to build a train and run pipeline through here.
Right.
And then when our brothers and sisters said, nah, we don't want you to run a pipeline through here. He said, well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to genocide you all over again. We're going to murder you all over again. We're going to make you suffer all over again. This place is wicked, man. Goddamn America, man. And once more, we want to believe what they said. Like you said, Joe Biden, listen, this is a national holiday. We have did too much wrong to these people. Now it's time to heal. It's time for us to come together and as Americans, all of us are Americans, and we have to heal. It isn't what these people are saying. Read that scripture. Oh, shit, that's me reading the scripture, so lock it. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
It's like if I could.
Go ahead.
Yes, and just like you brought up how it is that their words are so smooth today, you know, with the creation of Indigenous Peoples Day, trying to cover up, Columbus Day and the atrocities that were committed against us.
Right.
You understand? Columbus came over with them same smooth words. You know what I'm saying? He came over here telling the indigenous peoples that he crossed, just like that he was going to, essentially bring growth to their nation. You understand? And ensure that there is a unity between his people and our people. But that so-called unity came at a cost. You understand? It came at the cost of not only our land, which is truly the least important thing, but it came at the cost of our lives.
Damn right.
You understand? It came at the cost of our children's lives. It came at the cost of our culture and our heritage, our customs. It came, like, everything it is that we knew had to pay the price because we chose to trust in the devil himself. That's all that.
Damn right. No, that's a heavy point, man. And just think about it, man. Somebody had posted a clip on Facebook. It had Bugs Bunny. He was out there killing Indians. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indian. Pow, 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 pow. 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians. And then he go up. That one was a half-breed. Now, what went over a lot of people's head is, why do you think that one was a half-breed? Because some oppressor forced himself on one of our Gadite sisters. You understand? That's why. Like, that's how that stuff happens, man. Like, it's an old clip. It was going around. It went viral for a little bit. It was the clip of the movie Pocahontas. This came out in like 94, right? Of course, they played this Pocahontas story like she was in love with this oppressor. And I don't want to get into some R. Kelly stuff, but that oppressor was raping that little girl. Pocahontas wasn't a grown woman. Pocahontas was about 13, 14 years old. You understand? About 13, 14 years old. Now, this ain't my words. This is what the oppressor has said out of his own mouth. And John Smith was a grown man being
construct up.
And he was a grown man trying to get with a little kid. You get what I'm saying? That is the oppressor spirit. That's a conversation for another day. But I say that to say this. Like, she didn't want to be with him. It was war. That's why war broke out. But in that clip, in that Disney movie, there's one clip that's it had me dying. It said, this is a clip that, that's the absolute truth. And Disney don't make movies like this no more. Where it had the Indian chief come out, and he was like, these white men are dangerous.
Yeah.
We got to kill them. We got to stop them. We cannot let these people into our land. We cannot let these people infiltrate into our customs. Like, listen, man, if only we had that same spirit to understand that these oppressors are dangerous. Columbus Day is a proof of that. Like Von Gass said, Columbus came with words smoother than butter. Here he is, half dying, sick, starving to death. He's probably the first devil with COVID. You get what I'm saying? Cootie infested,
Right.
coughing out on us. They put his hands on the guy. Like, listen, I can help you. Water. You get what I'm saying? Straight up. And us being such a peaceable people, man, we accepted these devils into our customs. Allowed them. Bangad got a book called The Indian Wars, where it talks about how a devil was accepted into a Indian tribe, indigenous tribe, was there for forever. He was there for years. And then the second that a ship full of devils popped up, he betrayed that indigenous tribe. You know what I'm saying? To set them up to die and be enslaved at the hands of their oppressor ship. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you want to be accepted by these people, they will never accept you, man.
Right.
We are natural born enemies, man. Columbus Day is proof of that. Let me get the rest of the scripture. But war was in his heart. Now, with that being said, war is in his heart. Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden, Christopher Columbus, it don't matter what oppressor. Any oppressor comes to you acting like they want a peace treaty. Listen, let me tell you something. That is not for your benefit. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, that is not for our benefit. It is for their benefit. The reason Joe Biden made this Indigenous Day is because when it's time to be reelected, guess who he's going to call on?
Right.
The same people he called on when he got elected this time. Remember when he was like, if you ain't black, if you don't vote for me, you gonna tell the Gadites, listen, I gave y'all a goddamn holiday. You ain't indigenous if you don't vote for me. That's gonna be his next one, Bungad. You ain't indigenous if you don't vote for me. I gave y'all a holiday. I gave y'all Juneteenth, and I gave y'all Indigenous Day. And I gave y'all Spicy Meatball Day too. You know, he gonna get them Sicilians to vote for him as well. You get what I'm saying? This is what we deal with, man. It don't matter how smooth his words are. Indigenous Day don't mean nothing because at the end of the day, this ain't nothing but another war tactic to keep us off center. Go ahead, Bungad.
It's like if I could, just touching on something you had said, I would say that the Indigenous Peoples Day was actually created before Joe Biden, but he was like the first president to acknowledge it. So, you know, it's got it's like Indigenous peoples all hype about a change coming.
The same thing like Juneteenth. Like Juneteenth, we was already celebrating without the oppressor's consent.
Right.
And now that the oppressor, like you said, acknowledged it, now it's high fives and hugs for everybody. Now it's an official. We made it. Nigga, we made it.
Right.
Right. That's the spirit behind it.
And if I could,
go ahead,
you understand, Joe Biden got that whole idea of pleasing the indigenous peoples of the land from, you understand, the man it is that he served a few years back, Barack Obama, back when he was the vice president. You understand, because Barack Obama catered to the indigenous peoples. You understand, he sat there and made promises to our people that he never fulfilled. You understand, the only thing it is that Barack Obama did for our people was he made it so that the LGBTQ community could push into our reservations, push into our communities and do Lord knows what, you understand, to everybody.
And if I could, that's a good point that you brought out, because he did promise to protect the reservations so they couldn't push them pipelines through the reservations. Mm-hmm. He was out there, we had the news cameras and everything. We're going to do it. We're going to come together. Like he made you all sweet and calm with his voice. You know what I'm saying? That's a Christian tactic, of course. You know what I'm saying? The way that you speak, when you speak calmly and use certain speech patterns to calm down the rowdy people, because them people was out there ready for blood. They already had their whole country taken from them. Now you're trying to take the little plot of land they do got. You know what I'm saying? They tried the peaceful way. Now they was, sharpening them arrows. They was ready to kill something. Then Obama came out there, made all them promises, took all their fighting spirit out of them again, and guess what happened? The oppressors out there, not only is they killing the men, but they're kidnapping our women.
Right.
You know how many Gadite women go unreported? Like these women are being kidnapped and, like Bongad brought out, put on the sex trafficking market, man. They've done studies, they've done documentaries on it. It just don't take it doesn't get any traction because they're either black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. Now, if it was little Susie, it would be all over CNN. They would be looking for her right now. They would. I had an Amber Alert come over my phone earlier.
Me too.
Listen, let me
Back
tell
them
you.
up yet.
Yeah, that wasn't for one of us.
Right.
That was for little Kimberly. That's who that was for, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. And we gotta understand this, man. These little trinkets right here are nothing but gifts to destroy your heart. To destroy your heart and keep you from the real fight. Let's get that scripture in Deuteronomy, Quatazar.
Like, can I pull it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Bangad. Hold that real quick. Bangad got a scripture. Go ahead,
I
Bangad.
say it's like this is also the spirit really behind anything it is that the oppressor does for the indigenous peoples, for Hispanics, as well as so-called blacks in America. This is the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 10. His children shall seek to please the poor. Yes, and that.
That's a heavy one right there. No, you break it down. I was just saying that's a heavy scripture you pulled. That is definitely the spirit of us. As long as we can get a little high five, we happy. Go ahead, buddy. That's lucky.
Come. You know what I'm saying? And just like you said, you understand, our people get a little something, a little high five, we'll be content with it. That's exactly what this Indigenous Peoples Day is just a little pat on the back because we didn't get absolutely decimated when Columbus invaded these lands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we were able to hold out when our oppressor tried to assimilate us into his culture and his disgusting society. That's all that is. And his hands shall restore their goods. You know what I'm saying? Even though our oppressor hasn't physically given us anything, it is that we've already had with this day. Like, our people really view that like we've truly achieved something in this kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Even with all the hell it is that we go through every single day, like with Joe Biden acknowledging this day, you understand, like we damn near think that we got all of our land back from him simply acknowledging us. You know what I'm saying? We think that just because he did that we're gonna get all these sisters back, you know what I'm saying, tomorrow that have gone up missing and put into the sex trafficking. Like, we really think things are going to change. Like, we're really gonna get something to get us out of this condition when that's simply not the case. Verse 11, his bones are full of the sin of his youth. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly who these devils are that are advocating, you know what I'm saying, for our people.
That's definitely Joe Biden.
Right.
That's definitely Joe Biden. I remember Captain Kaposs brought out a clip how he was talking to the so-called black leaders. Remember, like, his youth came out in that one, boy. He's like, I've been checking niggas since before Martin Luther King was protesting. You better watch how you talk to me. I'm Dirty Joe. It's a lot. My fault. Go ahead, buddy. I just have to bring it out. That scripture, when you brought that out, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Joe Biden, and that definitely has the spirit of Christopher Columbus all over it. Hence, today. Right. Go ahead, please. I didn't cut you off. You're just bringing out these heavy scriptures.
It's like, we shall lie down with him in the dust. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what's going to happen. Like all the sins it is that these people have committed against us, there's not going to be any real justice for it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to simply pass away with them just like these devils have, just like Columbus did. You know what I'm saying? Just like Columbus raped and murdered and stole from a whole continent, those sins are simply going to die with them. There's not going to be any real justice. You know what I'm saying? Our people aren't going to get any kind of relief, even with the change of this day, or the so-called change of this day, which is all really just Columbus Day at the end of the day. That's it.
If you could, man, I got this article. You would read this for me. All right, Quatazar, you got that scripture?
Sir.
If you could, go ahead and read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now, what that means is this, man, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. There's a reason why we ended up over here in the first place, man. It's the reason why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians ended up on slave ships all around the world, man, because we disobeyed the Most High. We still continue to do it to this day. Like I said, back in the day, especially about 5 years ago, for sure, Columbus Day used to be a big worldwide event. We, black people, Hispanic people, Native Indian people, we were barbecuing on Columbus Day. We were celebrating. We was at the stores buying up all the new merchandise that they had because it was a Columbus Day sale. Like that was us. They do that stuff for us, man. They don't do it for them because they have all the goddamn riches anyway. They can get that stuff whenever they want. But you know who can't? We can't because we are poor. Something you want to bring up on that?
No.
Let's. Where you at, Quatzazar? Go ahead, Bungay. Let's get that scripture. Let's get that article.
This is an article from history.com. It's why Columbus Day courts controversy. More than 500 years after he discovered the United World, the new world.
Real quick, how can you discover something that already exists? I guess I'm about to go out in this parking lot and discover a whole bunch of vehicles, right? It don't work like that. Keep going.
Kicking off centuries of exploration and colonization of the Americas.
Kicking off centuries of rape, pillage, murder, and robbery. Keep going.
Christopher Columbus is honored with a federal holiday.
And this is something that we know America to do all the time. They honor their murderers, their rapists, their robbers. They honor them. If you murder, rape, pillage, and rob in America and you are an oppressor, you are a hero. Keep going.
On the second Monday of every October.
Mm-hmm.
However,
it used to be the 12th. That's when they first started it. It was the 12th of every October in like 1934, I believe. Let's get some more.
However, as historians have continued to dig into the life of Christopher Columbus,
as black people begin to find out, that's what that really means. Keep going.
Controversy has arisen over continuing to honor the Italian explorer as a hero.
Now we get into the root of why this is called National what day again?
Italian Heritage Day.
So it's called Indigenous Day, but we can't forget about Christopher Columbus. Why can't we forget about Christopher Columbus? Read that part again. The last little part. What was his bloodline?
Can I get this stuff doing it?
What is that?
It's going to be dark.
Yep, is that better? So now we know why this is called National Italian Day or whatever. National Spicy Meatball Day. That's what this is called. National Meatball Day. Mamma mia. My fault. Keep going.
Reread that?
Yeah, reread that part.
How?
What was his bloodline?
However, as historians have continued to dig into the life of Christopher Columbus, controversy has arisen over continuing to honor the Italian explorer as a hero.
So this is National Indigenous Day, but it's also National Italian Heritage Day. Do you not see the hypocrisy behind that? Black man, Hispanic man, Indigenous man. The hypocrisy behind it. You still listen. They still listen. That's why I said Christopher Columbus Day is a revenue stream. It's for money, right? That's why they make anything. That's why all these holidays exist in America, for the money. They can't just give up the money. They noticed that we weren't buying them little slave ships. We stopped buying the Nina, the Clinton, the Santa Maria. We didn't buy them little replica ships no more.
Right.
We stopped buying that stuff. We stopped buying the stuff that represented our slavery. So now they say, well, this is National Indigenous Day. So now we're going to sell you some eagle feathers and some stuff that you personally associate with the indigenous people. You're going to go out here and buy some animal totem poles and all that stuff, thinking that represents the indigenous people.
Right.
When really, if you want to do something that represents the indigenous people, you need to get into the Isupk.
Right.
That's how you represent the indigenous people, by coming back and following these laws, statutes, and commandments. But now we see why this is a National Italian Heritage Day as well. Keep going.
Sorry if I could real
Go
quick.
ahead, please.
You understand? For all the indigenous peoples out there, whether you're in the reservation or off of it, if there's any Italian or devil out here that is honoring this Italian Heritage Day, you understand, and making it a big thing, like, you should truly look at them in a different light, because that just shows you that they have that same hatred for you that Columbus had.
Yeah,
You understand? Because when has an Italian ever been worried about celebrating his goddamn heritage in America?
Right.
Like, they wasn't worried about that when they were gunning one another down in the streets during the Great Depression. You understand? As the mobsters, they weren't worried about any of that. But once it comes time to take away the day of a genocidal maniac, all of a sudden,
It's a problem.
yeah, they need a day. They need to freely be able to express their culture and their heritage.
Right. How can I express my murderous lust if you don't celebrate?
Right.
Let's get some more on that article.
Come. Columbus saw indigenous Americans as obstacles.
Now, this is the sad part, right? Because when you hear indigenous American, if you really think about it, right, because this continent is called America, that's just like saying indigenous or American. It doesn't make sense. Why does blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians always have a prefix before what they're called to represent their nation? But the person who is the most illegal immigrant on the face of this planet doesn't have a prefix before his name. He's just called an oppressor or a white man or, an American. But you have to be called an indigenous American. You have to be called a black American. You have to be called a Mexican American. While the oppressor is just called an American. But who's more illegal immigrant than him? You want a quick history? It's a movie with oppressors in it. I like watching it because they killing the crap out of each other. It's called Gangs of New York. I enjoy that movie. I watched that like, man, get him. Even though I know what's about to happen, I'm like, stab him. Don't let him walk away. Get him. You know what I'm saying? I love that movie because it shows their true nature, and I get off on watching oppressors fight each other the same way they get off on watching us fight each other. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. If you see two oppressors about to fight, get the hell out the way. Quit trying to break that stuff up. Let them do what's in their nature to do. Be animals and kill each other. Let's get some more on the scriptures. It's a lot. Let's get some more on that article if you feel about
that. Like many European explorers, Christopher Columbus encountered indigenous people throughout his voyages. There are three main sources of controversy involving his interactions with the indigenous people he labeled Indians.
Right.
The use of violence and slavery.
What?
The use of violence and slavery.
No, listen, Christopher Columbus, according to the movies, he came and he civilized us.
The use of violence and slavery.
He could not have used violence because they civilized us, and civilized people don't resort to violence, my God.
There are three main sources of controversy involving his interactions with the indigenous people he labeled Indians. The use of violence and slavery.
We just went over it in the scripture. His words was mover and butter, but in his heart was war. War was in his heart. That's all the oppressor cares about. Keep going.
The forced conversion of native peoples to Christianity.
No, they chose that, my God.
The forced conversion of native peoples to Christianity.
So my thing is this: if the Native Indians were forced to be Christians, then what were they before?
Right.
That's a good question. And listen, here's where the conspiracy theorists, they got conspiracy about everything else, but they ain't got one about this. So we know that Gadites or the so-called Indians or the indigenous people was made to be Christians. And we know that the so-called Negro or the black man were made to be Christians. And the same about the so-called Mexican, Hispanic, or Hispanic brothers or Israelite brothers were made to be Christians. What were all these people before Christianity? That's the $1 million question. Who were they before Christianity? Because apparently Christianity was forced upon them. We just read it. This is the oppressor's own account. Let's get it.
And the introduction of a host of new diseases that would have dramatic long-term effects.
Corona. Like I said, the oppressor probably had corona back then, man. The oppressor is a filthy animal. The reason all them diseases came is because the oppressor is a filthy beast. If you ever been out to the country and seen oppressors in their natural habitat on farms and stuff, they walk around with you see it here in the city. They walk around with no shoes on, flip-flops if they do got shoes, feet dirty as hell. Like they just, listen, kissing their dog all in the mouth. They French kiss their dogs. they go to the restroom. I can't be the only people to see. I can't be the only person. How many times have y'all been in the restroom, seeing a person come out the stall and walk right out the bathroom? Right. And then go right inside. And this is in a restaurant. They sit down and get to eating. You look over there, he got his finger like, and then you wonder where all these diseases come from. You know I'm not lying, man. Y'all know this is the truth. You see it all the time. You be like, you need some hand sanitizer? No, thank you. You're like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? Keep going, my guys.
And the introduction of a host of new diseases that would have dramatic long-term effects on Native people in the Americas.
The reason it has such long-term effects is because our Gadite brothers were following the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? We have the book of Leviticus tells you that's the clean laws. We didn't do that nasty stuff. So if you're not a nasty person and you hang around somebody that is just flat out trifling, guess what? All that stuff is gonna affect you. You get what I'm saying? Like you ever be somewhere and like, prime example, a basement. We'll use a basement for example. The basement is not like the upstairs. The basement has dust, cobwebs and stuff. You didn't even know you had allergies, so you went down in the basement. You go down in the basement, you go, achoo, 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 achoo. You're like, yeah, ain't you sick? Nah, nose running. That's because your allergies is acting up. Now imagine this like times 100. That's what it's like hanging around the oppressor. That's what it's like. You see him at your goddamn jobs, man. You be like, man, this dude is gross. He's nasty. You don't smell that? What does that smell? It be your oppressor. That's what the smell be. Him and Africans. That's what it be. Get some more on that article about that.
In an era in which the international slave trade was starting to grow.
Listen, why was it starting to grow? Because all these nations were confederate against us. The Africans was catching us. The oppressor was buying us and selling us. The Arabs were making the goddamn ships. The Moabites were supplying weapons. Everybody was against us, man. This thing was starting to grow. And let me tell you something. When you look up them old pictures and you see them slave pictures where they're auctioning off black people, Hispanic people, Native Indian people, let me tell you something. That don't say Africans. That say Negroes up there. Them signs say Negroes because they knew it was the difference between us and the Africans. Let's get some more.
Columbus and his men enslaved many native inhabitants of the West Indies and subjected them to extreme violence and brutality.
Keep going.
On his famous first voyage in 1492, Columbus landed on an unknown Caribbean island after an arduous 3-month journey.
Mm-hmm.
On his first day in the New World, he ordered 6 of the natives to be seized. It's like writing in his journal that he believed they would be good servants throughout his years in the New World.
Let's pause right there. Balthazar, you with me? Let's get the rest of that precept.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 58. And the Lord shall bring
Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Hold on. Read that part again. They will do what? The Lord will do what?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Stop right there. Okay. Read that last part about how did we get over here again? He said he put us on ships. He said we make good what? Good slaves?
Writing in his journal that he believed they would be good servants.
Keep going, Bongad.
Throughout his years in the New World.
Listen, let me tell you something, man. When it says new world, it don't mean a new earth. It don't mean a new planet. New world means something that we weren't used to, man. Listen, man. This place called America, the only reason it is great is because you are here, indigenous man, Hispanic man, black man. That's the only reason this place is great. If you want to make something great, you need black, Hispanic, and Native Indians there. That's the only way it's going to be great. The scriptures say this: we are the salt of the earth. Salt means flavor. If we hadn't never came to this place, if we would have never been kidnapped by Christopher Columbus and all these other oppressors to put us on slave ships and bring us here, guess what? This place would be the most bland place on planet Earth. You would still see devils walking around on their knuckles. I wouldn't doubt it. You know what I'm saying? They would still be living in a house with their pigs and their other filthy animals.
Throwing their poop in the streets.
Yeah, throwing their poop in the streets. You ever see them old movies? They show you how they used to live. They would open up the window and literally fling a bucket out the window with poop in it, poop and pee in it. Just fling, it splash all over the ground. People have to step over it. The bum be sitting right up under it as it splashes on them. Let me tell you something, man. Them was the glory days. If you want to make America great again, Mr. President, that's what you need to go back to. You understand? That's how they listen. That's how they, when the Most High Christ return, that's how they gonna be living on my far end of my plantation. They're gonna have it bad. You understand? For Columbus Day. Every day is gonna be Columbus Day back there for them. They're gonna call it the Most High Day. When the Most High cracked that sky open with them angels, you understand? When Christ returned, it's gonna be the worst thing that these devils ever seen. It's gonna be Columbus Day for them. That's what it's gonna be. You understand? The oppressor is the goddamn devil, man. All right, we gonna end it right there on that article, man, because that article keeps going and going, talking about all the wickedness of the oppressor and how we got over here to America. But let me tell you something. That is, once more, this is the oppressor writing about the oppressor. He's telling you what a murderous beast his own people is. You understand? What a murderous beast. And just think about it. When we was kids going to school, they hyped Columbus up like he was some goddamn hero. Right. Like he had did something wonderful. Somehow he found America and civilized the people, but they left out all the rape, murder, and robbing. They left all that out. They left out how he enslaved the indigenous people. They knew all of this stuff. They already had his journals. They already had all his whole history, and they didn't give a damn about it. But yeah, listen, the Lord put a spirit on the earth to where we can find out about this stuff again. How did he put the spirit on the earth? Because he put the priests and prophets back in rotation, man. They're in the Isupk Sioux, bringing out the crimes of the oppressor, man. Bringing out the crimes of Columbus Day. So you will never forget black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. And now that you understand these things and you don't celebrate this stuff no more, now the oppressor has switched up his war tactics. So now it's not called Columbus Day. We're going to call it Indigenous Day and National Italian Heritage Day. Now you know why it's all about the spicy meatballs. Because it has to be related back to Christopher Columbus. Somehow, some way, they got to make revenue, man. They make money off of our pain and suffering. They make money off of our death. If prison wasn't a profitable business, trust me, none of us would be in prison. If these holidays weren't profitable for them, trust me, you wouldn't have holidays, man. You understand? Let's get Job 9-24.
Can I pull a precept real quick?
Go ahead, my man. Do your thing.
So this is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, and verse 30. You're saying this right here is going to tell you exactly what it was that Columbus, as well as all these other oppressors, did when they came over here to these lands.
Right.
1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it was that Columbus had done when he came over here. You know what I'm saying? Just like every oppressor that followed him, they all made sure that our people knew, you know, that they were simply there to make sure that we prosper as a people. You understand? That they were there to ensure that we were able to grow in riches and in might throughout the lands and be able to conquer our enemies. You understand? Our brothers it is that we faced off against.
Right.
You understand? But all was deceit. You understand? No matter how many lies, no matter what it was that they told us, you understand, that we believed as being true, no matter how good it sounded to us, like it was all just lies. It was that our oppressor was spewing out of his mouth. It's the same thing that he does today. You know, so he comes to our people speaking peaceable words, just like Joe Biden did when he sat there and acknowledged our people. When he talked about how it was that we've been oppressed for so long in these lands and how great of a culture it is that we have. You know, so those are peaceable words, but it's all just lies coming out of his mouth because he don't give a damn about our people. if he gave a damn about our people, I mean, we would have at least recovered some of the sisters who have been put into the sex trade.
Right.
You understand? Like the amount of drugs that are flooding into our communities would not be flooding in how they are. The amount of sisters and children who are raped and molested by truck drivers just passing through the reservation would not be at the numbers they're at right now. You understand? Joe Biden doesn't give a damn about our people, just as Columbus didn't give a damn about our people.
And when Joe Biden gave us holidays, we got Juneteenth and National Indigenous Day.
But all was deceit.
You know
what I'm saying?
Sure.
For when they had given him credence, in a sense, just like, you know what I'm saying, credence is to believe something as being true or accepting.
We validate.
You understand?
Put a
Like
stamp on it.
our people really sat there and believed that, you know, these different devils who were arriving in our lands were really there to help our people out. And so we fought in wars believing that they were going to help our people out and expand our lands and ensure that we weren't the tribe on the bottom like we were for however many years, you know, it was that we were at the bottom. You understand? We believed everything it was that they told us.
And if I could, real quick, to verify these things, we even made treaties with them. Here, we're going to do this paperwork. We're going to agree upon this. This is all in paper now. There's no way he's going to break this one down. This is written out. This is credence right here. We gave credence to this because it's all written down here. We got all, it's all right here. It's all right here. It's credence right here.
Right.
So there's no way he's going to betray us, right? That's what you're about to finish breaking down, how he didn't betray us?
Kind of. And it's like he never betrayed us in over 400 treaties as well.
Right? Never, right? That's why we got Indigenous Day now. It was part of the treaty, I guess.
Right. He fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. He's saying exactly as Columbus did to our people.
Right.
You understand? And Columbus was not the first, and he's certainly not going to be the last devil to sit there and lie to us and destroy our cities and our communities at the same time. Like we got to get that out of our minds, that just because it's the 21st century, that things have changed and that our oppressor is not the disgusting and vile beast that he is. It's like 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, and just like Columbus and every single oppressor who has waged war against the indigenous peoples or the tribe of Gad, you know what I'm saying, always ensure that they take spoils from our people. Right. Ensure they take the spoils of the city, take all of our riches. You know what I'm saying? If they can't take them, then they ensure that they can destroy them. I was like, we're about to get into that. He set it on fire.
Right.
You understand? That's exactly what our oppressor does every time he wages war with us. That's why it is that we always have to just roam the land with nothing. Right. You understand? We got to pray that the Lord will show us enough mercy to, you know, give us a meal every 3-4 days, something like that.
And if I could, what you're breaking out is the scriptures in the Maccabees when we was dealing with the Romans, right? The Greeks. Same thing. Devil. Right. Devil to devil. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter, because the point I want to do is this: Romans, the Greeks. Them was the Greeks, as a matter of fact, which is, you know, same thing. Like I said, Romans, Greeks, they the same devil, really, just different parts. The same way that Christopher Columbus is the same as them. You understand? Like we reading in the Maccabees right here how the Greeks laid waste to the Israelites, right? And we just got to read an article about how, you know, another devil, a Sicilian, right? Was he Italian? Sicilian, same thing. Sicilian to devil, you know what I'm saying? Same animal laid waste to our Gadite brothers, to our indigenous brothers. You understand? So it don't matter at what time period, it don't matter what corner of the earth that it's happening at. The oppressor is and always has been the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. Point blank, period. It don't matter if it was 15 BC or 2021. The oppressor is the devil, man. And for us to try to make treaties or believe or put faith in these people, like it just said there, that we gave credence to what the devils were saying, right? Mm-hmm. We validated it. We put a stamp on it. And what happened? They destroyed us. When they came to our indigenous brothers, we made treaties. We had peace deals, all of that. We put a stamp on it. What did they do? Trail of Tears. Over 77 million Gadites dead. We can never trust these people. Ever, man. That's all I want to say about that.
Okay. And pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
So you mean all the tribes of God are scattered? Is that what that means?
And pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
That means that our heritage, our protection, our bloodline, everything that we have has been pulled down and scattered, man. Now you got $5 Indians. Now on Indigenous Day, you know why this thing is going to take credence and why it's going to be validated and why it's going to take off? Because now you got devils out there talking about I'm Indian. Like when we go to the powwows, man. Remember that crap, man?
Mm-hmm.
That stuff was pathetic, man. We got nothing but devils out there claiming tribes and claiming tribes from Gad, right? From the native and from the indigenous people. But they can't give you what tribe they're from. They just make up one. I'm from the hawk feather tribe. Wait, what? I'm from the eagle tribe. Like they just make up stuff, man. That's what these devils do, man. They have no validation, man. They know who they are. But in order to try to avoid judgment, in order to try to not be blamed, in order to try not to be accountable for their crimes, listen, I didn't do them crimes against the Indians. I am an Indian.
Right.
I'm an Indian. We the same. Even though I don't suffer how way you suffer, I got the same blood issue. That don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? They do the same thing with every tribe. Whoever's holding them accountable, now they want to be a part of that people. No, man, listen, that's not me that's putting them people on the cages on the borders. I got Mexicans in my family. I didn't have slaves. My great-great-great-great-grandmother was a slave. That's what we deal with, man. So lucky, my guy. Go ahead and get it in. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. You just keep going all these heavy scriptures.
Verse 32. But the women and children took they captive. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what the Spaniards did in order to get into a lot of our strongholds.
Right.
Whenever they went through conquering the lands. Like I got it in a book called the American Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? Where it goes through and talks about the different tactics of war it is that our oppressor used in order to conquer our cities and to conquer lands. And one of them was by them taking the children out of a specific city, you know, saying taking the wives of the men out of the city and essentially ransoming them off for said city. You know what I'm saying? And that's the exact same thing it is that our people go through even till this day. You know what I'm saying? Even till this day, our women and children, they're still being taken captive. That's why it is that there's, thousands of sisters and children who have come up missing, never to be seen again. You know what I'm saying? Why it is that, there's so many brothers who are looking for their wives and daughters and sons who are looking for their mothers is, like nothing has truly changed in these lands.
Right, and if I could,
go ahead.
That's still a tactic that, like you said, is still employed to this day. Still employed to this day. Like and this goes back to when, like I'm used to tribe of Judah, the Negroes, right? When we was a slave, what did they used to do? They would separate the families to different plantations. Why did they do that? To make sure that the men wouldn't rebel and that the women wouldn't run. Because if you run or you rebel, we got your kids, we got your woman. Now we got a way to manipulate you. Now we got a way to force you to do what we want. And like my guy said, like little Susie go missing. Now, once more, I'm bringing this up. I'm not the only person that got who got that Amber Alert on their phone today?
I got one.
Little Kimberly went missing. Boop, boop. That thing is loud. You get what I'm saying? That thing is loud. They letting you know little Kimberly went missing. We have to find her. Drop what you're doing right now, niggers, and help us find little Kimberly. But how many of our Gadite sisters go missing? How many of our indigenous sisters go missing? How many Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian women, sisters, little girls go missing? How many times you got an Amber Alert about that?
Right.
I'm just putting it out there.
Right.
They don't beat for that, do it. I think silence. And we see how many times you've been at Walmart and you look at that goddamn wall with missing people.
Yeah.
That's us up there, man. And I listen, all the people that I see on that wall, and that Amber Alert never went off. Not once. Not once. We go to file a missing report. They tell you, well, they're not missing unless it's been 3 days. If you haven't heard anything in 3 days, come back. But you know, Karen, she comes, Susie is 12 minutes late from school. I don't know what to do. Boop, boop, all on your phone. Understand the oppressor is the devil, man. Hey, listen, at least we got Indigenous Day.
All right.
Our sisters is missing. Hey, no sweat. We got Indigenous Day with Italian Heritage Day to go behind it. Because, you know, I got Sicilians in my family. Why?
Right.
Because I watched Godfather. That's why. And I eat spaghetti. That's why. You don't understand? Our oppressor is the goddamn devil, man.
Right.
Anything else you want to bring up on that?
Oh, no, I was going to drop it right there.
All right, most of course. You got that scripture, Quatazar? Job 9:24. We got to understand why these things is happening, man. We got to understand why we get crumbs while we watch these other nations eat, man. We got to understand why that Columbus Day is still in effect. They just don't call it Columbus Day. They call it National Italian Heritage Day. National Italian Heritage Day, right? And believe it or not, mark my words, man. Mark my words. Pretty soon, it's not even going to be called Indigenous Day. When next year in October, when this day rolls around, you're not going to think about this as Indigenous Day. The news is not going to say Indigenous Day. Fox, which is in every city has a Fox News, right? Fox News is not going to call this Indigenous Day. They're going to say Happy Italian National. What is it? Salaki, I mutilated it. Happy Italian Heritage Day.
Oh, yeah, Italian Heritage Day.
They're going to say Happy Italian Heritage Day. Let's go get us some spaghetti. Let's go get us some spaghetti with the spicy meatballs. And they're going to tell you to watch Godfather and whatever and Goodfellas. Because there was only Italian movies to pop in my head right now. Go ahead, Caps. I like it, sir.
So they changed Christopher Columbus Day?
Right. Yeah, so today's supposed to be Columbus Day. But I didn't even know it was Columbus Day till like 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's in that area. I call upon Gala. We changing the class. It's Columbus Day.
So they changed the name to what?
National Heritage. Salaki. Go ahead, my guy.
Italian Heritage Day.
Italian Heritage and Indigenous Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day. Hey, but Salaki Cat, they had to change it because Columbus Day wasn't getting nobody to spend no money. Like Columbus Day used to be a huge event. Like I was saying earlier, I can't be the only person that remember this. There used to be a Columbus Day sale. Like Columbus Day sale. Come get new carpet, get a new couch, get a new car, get a new TV, get a new whatever. Because it's a Columbus Day sale. Like they used to have Columbus Day sales like this. And they would make the Columbus Day, like it would all run into play. All right, so you're doing a Columbus Day sale, you can get your Halloween stuff, right? And you can get your Christmas stuff. Like they would do it big. They was selling like a mug on this day. But being that the Lord has woken up the true priests and prophets, you understand, and put the Isupk in effect, and we bringing this stuff to fruition, we bringing this stuff to light, people understand that Columbus is an animal, he's a beast, he's a murderer, he's a rapist, he's a robber. So people don't celebrate it no more. So in order to keep it, the money coming in, they said, we got to switch it up. We can't call it Columbus Day no more because these niggas don't want to buy slave ships no more. They don't want to buy the little replica slave ships. They used to, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Adam McCap said about how they should have just kept it the same because that is just retarded.
There's no money in it.
Like, my thing is, you know what I'm saying, if the so-called indigenous peoples of this land or the tribe of Gad, if they'll celebrate Thanksgiving, which is a holiday completely dedicated to the, you know what I'm saying, rape and murder and land theft of our people, you know what I'm saying, of our forefathers, then, I mean, Columbus Day is nothing different. You know what I'm saying? If brothers and sisters celebrate July 4th, then I mean, it's no different from what is it,
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth or Black History Month. Like, it's all the same thing. You understand? Our people, we don't have enough compassion on our own to actually care about any of that. You know what I'm saying? What we care about is what makes us happy, and I mean, that's really about it.
And that's why they changed the name and didn't just do away with it.
Mhm.
You own it, Bunghead. You know this.
Yeah.
They listen, because here's the difference between Thanksgiving and Columbus Day. People will tell you clear as day, yeah, I know Thanksgiving, you know, they murdered our Indian brothers, but it's about coming together as a family. We've been coming together. It's a movie. Now, I can't be the only person that's seen this movie, right? Because this is like one of them Tyler Perry classics, even though it's not a Tyler Perry movie. But for some odd reason, this nigga Tyler Perry has been associated with the most promising movies in all of Black history, right? So all his movies are considered classic. This is one of them. It's called Soul Food, right? And every Sunday, this woman would get together with the family and cook all this food and, you know, celebrate white Jesus. That's what Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is Soul Food Day. You understand? It don't matter that I haven't talked to my cousin in 10 years over $5. That don't matter. The oppressor has told me that this is the day that I celebrate family. And not only that, football's on.
Right.
We gotta watch football, Dad. So it's different from Columbus Day, because Columbus Day, they just trying to get me to go out and buy stuff. And of course I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna barbecue. You get what I'm saying? I can give up Columbus Day. That's nothing, because that's not on the same level as Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, it's a spirit behind it. You don't understand. We coming together. We got this glazed honey ham. We got this catfish. We got this shrimp, crab, and what? We got all the things the Lord told us not to eat.
Right.
That's what we about. We about to eat everything that Leviticus told us not to eat. You know, the book of Leviticus told us not to eat. We about to eat all of that, and we gonna enjoy it too. And I'm gonna, not only am I gonna do that, but I'm gonna smile in all my people's face that I do not like. Look, even Uncle Teddy's here. He's been molesting me since I was 2 years old.
Dang.
But he's here, and I gotta love him today because the oppressor told me to. That's how destroyed we are, Bunghead. It's like, and the oppressor understands this. He knows, because he's the one that instituted all of this. You get what I'm saying? He instituted it. Columbus Day, he cannot give it up. So we just read in the article that Columbus is what? He's an Italian. That's why it's National Italian Heritage Day.
Right.
So it's Columbus Day just undercover. It's Columbus Day like this. It's how you celebrate Columbus Day now. You get to do it like this. This way, you know what I'm saying? If you got your eyes covered, the Lord can't see you do it. Right? That's how Christianity has taught me. Christianity has taught me if I want to do something, just put a hoodie on. That way the Lord and the angels can't see me. They didn't know it was me. He didn't have me on camera.
I say it's like Superman.
Right.
Glasses on, it's Columbus Day.
Right.
Or, and you take them off, now it's Italian Heritage Day.
Right. It's that simple, man. So they got to get this money out of it. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. We poured in another scripture earlier. Zechariah 11:5. Whose oppressors slay us and hold themselves not guilty, but say we are rich. We didn't kill nobody, but celebrate this holiday. Celebrate the death of your brothers and sisters still. It ain't Thanksgiving, but you know, we just giving honor to the dude that made Thanksgiving possible.
Right.
And now we got to give honor to him without saying his name, because every time his name come up, you get mad. Every time I hear Bongad, every time I hear Madarag, I get mad. I don't like hearing Madarag. So now I just say Bongad. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but it's a different spirit behind it. So it's Indigenous Italian Day. Italian Heritage Day and Indigenous People Day. Let's think about that prophecy behind that. Let's get that scripture real quick, Quartazar, and we're gonna shut it down. This is why he's allowed. This is why he's allowed to do this. This is why he's allowed to do this, man. It's the spirit behind all of this. Let's get that scripture.
Fellow God, this is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24.
Go ahead.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
What? Say that again.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The oppressor has control over the whole earth, man. You better believe if he wanted it to be National Italian Day or National Indigenous Day, he could do that. And not only can he do it here, but he can do it wherever he wants to.
Right.
You understand? If he actually wanted to give our indigenous brothers their land back, he can do that because he has control over all this. How many times have we been driving on our way out of town on the interstate and you see nothing but open field as far as the eye can see? They got a bunch of windmills or whatever that thing is they're spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't they just don't give them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres onto us, onto the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? We're making, hey, listen, we'll figure it out. You know how many times I've seen nothing but plush forests. They got the deer signs up, be careful, deers cross this interstate. Give us that land. But they won't. They'll say, this is a national park. You can't live here. And you got to have permission to visit. That's what they say. The oppressor's the devil. Keep going.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
He do what?
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Now, here's the thing with this one. And I chose this scripture because I wanted to put a different spin on it, man. So usually when we break the scripture down, we're talking about the priests and prophets of the Lord, right? We're talking about the priests and prophets. We're talking about Christ, how he's made Christ a European, how he's made all 12 disciples Europeans, how he's made the angels little white babies that's naked. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is what the oppressor does. He covers the faces of the judges. But in this case, on Columbus Day, you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to cover his face. He doesn't want you to. So now when you say Indigenous Day or National Italian Heritage Day, you don't think about Columbus. If I say, hey, happy National Indigenous Day, happy Indigenous Day, Columbus don't pop in your mind. The rape, the murder, the robbery don't pop in your mind. You get what I'm saying? That don't pop in your mind. Hey, happy Italian Day, man. Now, happy Italian Heritage Day. Columbus don't pop in your mind. The rape, the murder, the robbery don't pop in your mind. That's what he's trying to do. Now he's trying to disassociate. Now he's trying to cover his faces. He's trying to cover his face. And then here's the funny part. This is about the only time that this will ever happen with the oppressor. Not only is he trying to cover the white face, but he's trying to replace it with a black face. He's trying to replace it with somebody that you can relate to, a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. We watch Scarface and Goodfellas and what's the other one? Casino. We watch all these, Godfather. We watch these movies so much, somehow we become Sicilian.
If I could, I got Brown.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Cash.
Jeremiah 16:19, where it says, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Like they're going to come to the realization that they inherited a whole bunch of lies and BS. Thanksgiving was a lie. You know, Christopher Columbus was a lie. The scriptures prophesied.
Right. Damn right, sir. Quantas are. Let's get the rest of that.
If not, where and who is he?
If not, then where and who is he? If the oppressor ain't the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, if not, then where and who is he, man?
Right.
Goddamn Columbus Day, man. And listen, I love my indigenous brothers and sisters with all my spirit, man. But damn this Indigenous Day, damn this National Italian Heritage Day, damn Juneteenth, damn it all, man.
Right.
None of that doesn't make us free. None of that doesn't make us closer to the Most High. As a matter of fact, by us accepting these things shows how much of a slave that we truly are still in this place, man.
Right.
Shows that we haven't learned a damn thing. Shows that we haven't accepted nothing, that we've accepted gifts. And gifts will do what? Destroy the heart. They will destroy your heart. They will take your mind off of the fight. Take your mind off of the battle that's at hand, man. Damn Columbus Day. The oppressor, listen, I'm gonna still call it Columbus Day. I'm gonna make it a point to remember this day and call it what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Murder, rape, pillage, and rob day. They better be glad I didn't find out what it was until later on in the day. When I was out and about, I say, happy murder, pillage, and rob day, Mr. Oppressor. You know what I'm saying? They need to feel the pain, man. They need to be held accountable for their actions. Let me tell you something, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. If you commit a crime in America, he's going to make sure that you remember it. He's going to make sure that you remember it every day for the rest of your life. And that's what we need to do with these people, man. We need to make sure that nobody forgets the murder, the rape, the pillaging, and the robbing that they have done to acquire everything that they have.
Right.
They didn't get it by good business sense. They didn't make fair trade. Matter of fact, if I could, real quick, there was a show called Hell on Wheels, right? Used to come on AMC. I never finished it. You know, they just kept dragging on. It's like The Walking Dead. Now the episodes don't even make any sense anymore. They're just trying to milk money out of it. That's what it's about. So anyway, there's a scene where, right, an oppressor and an indigenous, an Indian chief leader, right? And the oppressor is telling the Indian, he's like, you got to get off this land. He's like, I got to get off my own land. He was like, yeah, it's my land. He's like, how did you get the land? He was like, well, and then the chief started asking questions. He was like, did you buy it? Who did you buy it from? You didn't buy it from me or my people.
Right.
Did you trade for it? You didn't trade with me because we wouldn't have traded for it. How is this your land? Just because you come here and say this is your land doesn't make it your land.
Right.
The oppressor has taken a piece of paper. He's literally taken a piece of paper, wrote out some stuff. He took a piece of paper, wrote out, you're going to own from here to there. And that's taking over the country. That's taking over the world. And we accept it. And let me tell you something, man. The Lord is going to come and he's going to burn up his land. He's going to burn up his paper. He's going to burn him up, man. I pray that the oppressor suffers for every crime committed against every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian that we know about and that we don't know about, man.
Right.
That's what, man, listen, that's what needs to happen. That's what's going to happen, man. That's all I got. Anybody else got anything they want to bring out before we shut it down? Walter, you got anything, soldier?
A lot of stuff.
All right, most of our Christ. With that being said, man, we're about to go ahead and shut class down. We're going to get the announcements, the Lord's Prayer, and we're going to get out of here.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, it's a free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory. It's whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. It's the Feast of Dedication, which is on November 28th.
Right.
It's a Sunday.
Right. And if I could, we're going to be going into that why the Feast of Dedication is so important. We're going to start on that story our next Monday class. So make sure y'all tune in online or, show up in person like the sister do every Monday. We're going to rock it out. It's going to be good. I'm telling you, the Maccabees, that story is glorious, man. Judas Maccabee, hey, listen, man, that's that nigga. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's that guy. Hey, we're going to break it down, man. That's all I want to say.
If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and a war scarf. With that said, I majum, which means to stand. Wapunya haki dum, which means to turn and face the east. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Habanau.
Habanau.
Shabbat Shemayim. Quadash,
Wadash,
Hayah,
Ayah,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwaka,
Malakaka,
Tawa'a,
Tabaa,
Ratazayaka,
Ratazayaka,
Hayah,
Ayah,
Aisha,
Asha,
Pa'arataza,
Arakaza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Bashamayim,
Bashmai,
Nathan,
Nathan,
Lenawa,
Lanawa,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Ka,
Ka,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalakanaw,
Wasalakanaw,
Kawawatanaw,
Kawawakanaw,
Kasalakanaw,
Wasalakanaw,
Kawawatanaw,
Kawawakanaw,
Wala'a,
Kawaa,
Tawayayanaw,
Kabayanaw,
Banasaya
Banazawan,
Abal,
Abal,
Awashayanaw,
Awashanaw,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Malakwa,
Waha'ala,
Ba'ala,
Watapar,
Watapara,
Lawalamyam,
Lam,
Aman.
Amman.
Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our
and
debts
forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the
For
kingdom,
thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barak atah Yahweh,
Baruch atah Yahweh,
wa Yahweh Shai,
wa Yahushua,
wam yaka'ala,
one Yakala,
wa ahayim,
wa Ahayim,
matazab ya'ah,
Matazam Yah,
halawap yahana,
Alawak Yahana,
ha halawapyam,
Alawakim,
hazaranyam,
Azaranyam,
ha kwatazayanyam,
Hakasazayim,
ha kayayayam,
Hakayayu,
wa kwathiyam,
Wayawakim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem Yahweh Shai,
Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Waraman.
Waraman.
Prayer for the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahushua,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
commanding General Yahana,
Commander Yahana,
the generals,
generals,
the captains,
captains,
the officers,
officers,
the troopers,
troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
and Yahushua,
thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Sar, which means a turn. Sisters Jashabia, which means we seated. We're going to give a salute to the brothers, men of Israel, Mam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barak Thumb. As Matah. Sisters Amajim, Sar, Basis. Going to give a salute to the sisters, men of Israel, Mam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Thumb by Hashem Yahushua. As Matah. Class dismissed.
Hey, ready?